What is that disgusting smell? Oh my God, is that fried chicken? Ms. Jennifer Patterson recoils dramatically, hand over her nose. She towers over 12-year-old Marcus Williams like a judge over a criminal. This is a school cafeteria, not the hood. Where do you people think you are? Some white students snicker. One whispers loud enough, "Ghetto lunch." Marcus's voice trembles. "I'm sorry, Ms. Patterson. I made it for my dad." "Your dad?" She grabs the tray with 2 fingers, holding it away from her body. "Well, your dad can eat garbage at home, not here." Around the cafeteria, black students freeze mid-bite, eyes down, silent. Patterson dumps everything into the trash. His mother's Tupperware clatters against the metal. "Maybe next time you'll bring real food, like normal people." Marcus sits motionless, watching his 3 hours of work rot in the garbage. Have you ever felt invisible while everyone watched you break? Marcus Williams lives in a modest 2-bedroom apartment 3 blocks from Lincoln Heights Middle School. The morning sun filters through thin curtains onto family photos covering every wall. His grandmother, Dorothy Williams, has raised him for 3 years. Since the cancer took his mother, Angela. Since his father deployed overseas with the Army. Colonel David Williams, commander of Fort Myer Military Base in Arlington, Virginia. 8 months deployed in Afghanistan. Coming home this Friday. Marcus counts the days on his Captain America calendar. 4 more sleeps until Dad walks through that door. This morning started differently. Marcus woke at 5:30, tiptoed to the kitchen while Grandma Dorothy still slept. He pulled out his mother's old recipe box, the one with her handwriting on faded index cards. Fried chicken, mac and cheese, collard greens. Every Sunday before she got sick, Mom taught him to cook, her hands guiding his, her voice soft. "Food is love you can taste, baby. Don't ever forget that." Last night, Marcus stayed up until 10 preparing today's lunch. His first time cooking solo. A surprise for when Dad got home. Proof he was growing up. Proof he remembered everything Mom taught him. The vintage Tupperware container was hers too, from 1995, light blue with white flowers. She used it for every family picnic. Marcus carried it to school like a treasure. Lincoln Heights Middle School sits in a gentrifying Washington, D.C. neighborhood. 70% students of color, 85% white teaching staff. The math doesn't add up, but nobody talks about it. The building looks modern, fresh paint. New computers. A banner outside reads, "Excellence through Unity." But something shifted 3 months ago when Ms. Jennifer Patterson got promoted to head the school standards committee. Patterson has taught language arts for 15 years. She's 52, lives in Georgetown, drives a Mercedes. Parents love her because their kids get into good high schools. Teachers respect her because she has seniority. Her new initiative, Cultural Appropriateness in Education. The official memo sent to families talked about creating unified school culture and maintaining professional environments. It mentioned dress codes, communication standards, behavioral expectations. What it didn't mention was the pattern that started immediately after. Aaliyah Jackson, 8th grade, had her head bonnet confiscated in September. Patterson called it inappropriate sleepwear, even though Aaliyah wore it to protect her hair. Her mother complained. Principal Cartwright dismissed it. 2 weeks later, Jamal Davis got detention for wearing a durag. Patterson wrote him up for gang-related attire. His father, a Metro bus driver, came to school furious. Cartwright sided with Patterson. Miguel Hernandez brought his grandmother's homemade tamales in October. Patterson stopped him in the cafeteria line, told him the smell was too ethnic, and made him throw them away. Miguel's mother called the school. Cartwright said teachers had professional discretion. Keisha Thomas, 7th grade, brought jollof rice 2 weeks ago. Patterson made her dump it, saying it created unfair food environments for other students. Keisha cried in the bathroom for an hour. Raj Patel's mother sent curry last month. Same result. Patterson claimed the strong odors disrupted learning. But here's what nobody wrote down officially. White students bringing Italian food, Greek gyros, or Irish stew. Never questioned, never stopped, never thrown away. The pattern was clear to students. Crystal clear. But their parents' complaints went nowhere. 7 formal grievances in 3 months, all dismissed by Principal Dr. Helen Cartwright. Cartwright is 63, white, 20 years in administration. She built her reputation on supporting teacher autonomy and trusting professional judgment. Translation: she doesn't question white teachers, ever. This morning, Marcus arrived at school early. He carefully placed his container in the cafeteria fridge, behind the milk cartons where it would stay cold. He smiled the whole time. His best friend Tyler Brooks noticed immediately. Tyler's Korean-American, loves basketball, never misses a chance to eat Grandma Dorothy's cooking. "Yo, is that your grandma's fried chicken?" Tyler peered into the fridge. Actually, Marcus's chest puffed with pride. "I made it. First time all by myself." "No way, your dad's gonna freak out." "That's the plan. He comes home Friday. I've been practicing." Other students gathered around, curious. The cafeteria ladies smiled. Everyone knew Marcus as the quiet kid who got straight A's and never caused problems. "Man, that smells amazing already," said Devin, another black student. "Your mom's recipes, right?" Marcus nodded, suddenly emotional. "Yeah, her recipes." 3 tables away, Ms. Patterson stood with another teacher, supposedly monitoring breakfast. But her eyes tracked to Marcus, to the students crowding around him, to the container he held like gold. Her nose wrinkled. She leaned to Mrs. Henderson, the math teacher. Her voice carried, "Some of these families just don't understand what's appropriate for school environments." Mrs. Henderson looked uncomfortable but said nothing. The morning passed normally. Marcus aced his history quiz. In the robotics club, he finished programming his team's competition robot. Coach Martinez praised his work. But in third period English, Ms. Patterson's class, something felt off. She assigned an essay. What does respect mean in our community? While other students brainstormed, Patterson walked the rows. She stopped at Marcus's desk, stood there, stared down at him until he looked up. "Marcus, I hope you're taking this assignment seriously. Respect is about understanding boundaries, knowing what's acceptable." Her smile didn't reach her eyes. "Some people need to learn that lesson more than others." Marcus didn't understand. He nodded anyway, kept his head down. At 12:47 p.m., lunch period began. Marcus retrieved his container from the fridge. It was still cold. Perfect. He chose his usual table near the windows. Tyler sat across from him. Aaliyah and Devin joined them. He opened the lid. The aroma rose immediately. Rich, savory, perfect. Exactly like Mom used to make. Marcus felt a surge of accomplishment. "Dude, can I have some?" Tyler asked. "After I show my dad first." Marcus grinned. "Then I'll make extra for everyone." Conversations buzzed around them. The cafeteria held 200 students. The sound of trays, laughter, shouting across tables, normal middle school chaos. Marcus picked up his fork. That's when he noticed the silence spreading like a wave. Students stopped talking. Heads turned toward his table. Ms. Patterson walked across the cafeteria floor. Each step is deliberate, purposeful. Her eyes locked on Marcus. She didn't stop until she stood directly over him, close enough that her shadow fell across his tray. Tyler's fork froze halfway to his mouth. Aaliyah's eyes went wide with recognition. She'd seen this before. She knew what came next. Marcus looked up at Ms. Patterson's face, saw the disgust there, the contempt. His stomach dropped. "Marcus Williams." Her voice projected across the cafeteria. "What exactly is that?" Marcus's voice comes out smaller than he intended. "It's my lunch, Miss Patterson. I made it myself. You made it. She repeats his words like they're evidence of a crime. And did you get permission to bring this food to school? Permission? Marcus looks confused. It's just food. Like everyone else? Not like everyone else. Patterson's finger points at his tray. This is exactly the kind of thing we've been addressing. This smell. This display. Around them, phones emerge from pockets. Students sense something big happening. Tyler speaks up. Ms. Patterson, lots of kids bring food from home. Mr. Brooks, this doesn't concern you. She doesn't even look at Tyler. Her focus stays laser-locked on Marcus. Marcus tries again. My dad comes home Friday, from deployment. I wanted to surprise him. I don't care about your family plans. Patterson reaches down. Her hands grip both sides of his tray. What I care about is maintaining standards. Marcus's hand shoots out. Wait, that's my mom's container. But Patterson already lifted the tray. She turns toward the industrial trash bin. Her heels click against the tile. 10 steps. Every student is watching now. Ms. Patterson, please. Marcus stands. His voice cracks. My mom died. That container was hers. The crash of food hitting trash stops him mid-sentence. Patterson wipes her hands together, brushes them off like she touched something contaminated. She walks back, drops the empty container in front of Marcus. Perhaps tomorrow you'll bring something appropriate, something that belongs here. She looks around the cafeteria. Let this be a lesson about standards. She walks away, back straight, powerful. Marcus stands frozen, the empty container in his hands. 3 hours of work. His first solo attempt, all rotting in garbage. Tyler jumps up. That's messed up. Marcus didn't do anything wrong. Aaliyah moves to Marcus's side. She did it again, 3rd time this month. Other black students approach, fear mixed with solidarity on their faces. Devin speaks. She threw away my sister Keisha's jollof rice 2 weeks ago. Miguel's tamales last month, another student says, called them too ethnic. Raj's curry, same thing. Tyler pulls out his phone. I recorded everything. This is discrimination. Marcus barely hears them. He stares at the container, runs his thumb over a small crack in the corner. That crack was there when Mom was alive. My grandma, I told her I'd take care of it. The bell rings. Students file out slowly. Some are sympathetic. Some were relieved it wasn't them. The white students who laughed avoid eye contact. Marcus doesn't move until Tyler touches his shoulder. We need to tell someone. They go to Principal Cartwright's office. Marcus clutches the container. The secretary looks up. Boys, you should be heading to class. We need to see Dr. Cartwright. Tyler's voice urgent. Ms. Patterson threw away Marcus's lunch and humiliated him. The secretary's expression shifts to pity. Dr. Cartwright is in a meeting. You'll need to wait. They sit. 5th period starts. They're late. 6 minutes. 10. 20. 40. The office door opens. Dr. Cartwright appears, glasses on a chain, looking annoyed. Yes? What's this about? Marcus stands, holds out the container. Ms. Patterson threw away my lunch. She said it was inappropriate, but other kids bring food. Ms. Patterson was enforcing school policy, Marcus. What policy? Tyler challenges. Show us the written policy. Young man, I don't appreciate your tone. Cartwright's eyes narrow. Ms. Patterson has 15 years' experience. She has professional discretion. Marcus feels desperate. She threw away my mom's container. My mom died 3 years ago. She had no right. I understand losing a parent is difficult. Cartwright's voice softens slightly but doesn't change. However, we cannot have students questioning teacher authority. Ms. Patterson made a professional judgment. A racist judgment, Tyler mutters. Cartwright's face hardens. That's serious. Do you have proof? Marcus thinks of all the incidents, all students of color, all cultural items, but no documents, just stories. Other students told me, hearsay isn't evidence. Cartwright checks her watch. You're both late now. This conversation is over. The door closes in their faces. Tyler pulls out his phone. I got the whole thing on video. Every word. What good does that do? We'll find out. In 6th period English, Patterson assigns an essay. What does respect mean in our community? She makes direct eye contact with Marcus. After class, she stops him. Marcus, I hope you learned something today about appropriate behavior. Marcus replies quietly. I learned something about you. Patterson's smile vanishes. Excuse me? Nothing, Ms. Patterson. He walks away. Outside, Tyler's already texting. The video is uploaded to the school group chat first, then wider. Marcus pulls out his phone, texts his grandmother. Grandma, can you call Dad? I need to talk to him. Her reply comes fast. Baby, he's on a mission. Come home Friday. What's wrong? Marcus stares at the screen. Types, nothing. It's okay. But his face says everything isn't okay. Thursday morning, Marcus wakes to his grandmother's voice in the kitchen. Tense. Worried. He creeps to the doorway. Dorothy sits at the table reading an email on her old laptop. Her hand covers her mouth. Grandma? What's wrong? She looks up. Her eyes show exhaustion. Baby, the school sent an email. They want a meeting. Today at 3. Marcus's stomach drops. A meeting? About what? Dorothy turns the laptop toward him. The subject line reads, Student Conduct Discussion Required, Marcus Williams. The email is from Ms. Patterson, copied to Principal Cartwright and the school counselor. Marcus reads over his grandmother's shoulder. Words jump out at him. Disruptive behavior. Defiance. Refusal to acknowledge school standards. Created a hostile environment in the cafeteria. They're saying I was the problem? Marcus's voice rises. She threw away my food. I know, baby, I know. Dorothy's jaw tightens. We're going to that meeting. We're going to sort this out. But her tone doesn't sound confident. It sounds defeated. Marcus gets ready for school in silence. His backpack feels heavier. Everything feels heavier. At school, the video has spread. Tyler's post from yesterday got 200 views overnight. Students Marcus barely knows approach him in the hallway. Yo, that messed up what Patterson did. My cousin had her last year. She's always like that to black kids. You should report her. But some students avoid him completely, especially the white kids who laughed yesterday. They look at him differently now, like he's trouble, like he brought this on himself. In the second period, his history teacher, Mr. Anderson, pulls him aside. Mr. Anderson is black, 40 years old, teaches with passion. Students love him. Marcus, I saw what happened yesterday. Anderson's voice is low. That wasn't right. Hope flares in Marcus's chest. Can you help? Can you tell them? I'm non-tenured. Anderson looks pained. Patterson has influence with Cartwright. If I speak up, I might not have a job next year. The hope dies. So nobody can help? I didn't say that. Anderson pulls a small notebook from his desk. Document everything. Dates, times, witnesses, what was said. Exactly. If you're going to fight this, you need evidence. He hands Marcus the notebook. Their hands touch briefly, a moment of solidarity that can't be spoken aloud. Thank you, Marcus whispers. Your mother was a fighter. Anderson's eyes are serious. I knew her. She taught at Roosevelt High before she got sick. She never backed down from injustice. Neither should you. The words sit in Marcus's chest like warm stones. At lunch, Marcus sits with Tyler, Aaliyah, and Devin. None of them brought food from home. They all bought the sad cafeteria pizza. Marcus opens Anderson's notebook, starts writing. What are you doing? Aaliyah asks. Aaliyah, building a case. Marcus's pen moves fast. Ms. Patterson, September 15th, confiscated Aaliyah Jackson's bonnet. Called it inappropriate sleepwear. Aaliyah nods slowly. My mom complained. Nothing happened. September 28th, Raj Patel's curry. Patterson said strong odors disrupt learning. Marcus looks at Devin. Your sister, Keisha Thomas, October 10th, jollof rice. Devin leans in. She cried for 2 hours. My mom called the school 3 times. October 3rd, Miguel Hernandez, tamales, too ethnic. Marcus writes faster. And yesterday, November 6th, me. Tyler watches the list grow. That's 5 incidents in 2 months, all students of color. But white kids? Marcus's pen taps the paper. Nobody stops Emma's lasagna, or Connor's gyros, or that kid who brings Irish stew every week. The pattern is undeniable on paper, crystal clear. This is evidence, Devin says quietly. Real evidence. Marcus feels something shift inside him, not hope exactly, but purpose. The afternoon drags. In English class, Patterson is overly sweet to him, fake concerned. Marcus, I hope you're reflecting on yesterday's lesson, about respect and boundaries. Her smile is plastic. Some students need more guidance than others. She assigns extra homework, just to him. 3 additional essay questions about personal responsibility and accepting constructive criticism. After school, Marcus and his grandmother walk to the administrative building. Dorothy wears her church clothes, her good shoes, like she's going to court. They arrive at 2:55 p.m., 5 minutes early. The secretary leads them to a conference room. Principal Cartwright sits at the head of the table, Ms. Patterson to her right, the school counselor, Mrs. Reynolds, to her left, 3 against 2. Dorothy and Marcus sit across from them. The power imbalance is immediate, obvious. Thank you for coming, Ms. Williams. Cartwright's voice is professionally neutral. We wanted to discuss Marcus's recent behavioral concerns. Behavioral concerns? Dorothy's tone is careful. From what Marcus told me, Ms. Patterson threw away his lunch and humiliated him publicly. Patterson jumps in. With all due respect, that's not what happened. I was enforcing our cultural appropriateness initiative. Where is that policy written? Dorothy interrupts. Show me the handbook page. Cartwright shifts. It's part of our professional judgment framework. Teachers have discretion. Discretion to target my grandson? Dorothy's voice rises slightly. To throw away food he spent hours making in his dead mother's container? Silence hangs heavy. Patterson recovers first, opens a folder. Mrs. Williams, I've documented several concerning behaviors from Marcus. She slides papers across the table. Dorothy picks them up. Emails, all sent from Patterson to herself, all dated this week. November 6th, 3:15 p.m. Marcus made inappropriate comments after class. Direct quote, I learned something about you, said with a threatening tone. Marcus speaks up. I wasn't threatening, I just meant... Young man, the adults are talking. Cartwright's voice cuts like a blade. Dorothy's hand finds Marcus's under the table. Squeezes. Patterson continues. November 6th, 12:50 p.m., Marcus created a disruption in the cafeteria by bringing non-compliant lunch items, then arguing when corrected. He was 12 years old eating food his grandmother taught him to make. Dorothy's voice shakes with controlled anger. How is that non-compliant? Our initiative addresses foods that create uncomfortable environments. For who? Dorothy leans forward. Uncomfortable for who? Because my grandson's fried chicken made white students uncomfortable? The word hangs in the air. White. The thing nobody wants to say directly. Cartwright intervenes. Ms. Williams, let's not make this about race. It is about race. Dorothy pulls out her phone, shows Tyler's video. Watch this. Watch how your teacher speaks to my grandson. The room falls silent as the video plays. Patterson's voice comes through tinny but clear. This is a school cafeteria, not the hood. Mrs. Reynolds, the counselor, shifts uncomfortably. She's stayed silent until now. But Cartwright doesn't flinch. Ms. Patterson, perhaps your phrasing was unfortunate. But the core issue remains. Marcus needs to understand authority. Patterson nods. Exactly. This is about a student who refuses to accept correction, who makes insubordinate comments, who disrupts learning environments. Dorothy looks at them both, sees the wall they've built, the institutional power protecting itself. So, what are you proposing? Her voice goes quiet. Dangerous quiet. Cartwright slides a paper across the table. Official school letterhead. 3-day suspension, starting tomorrow, Friday through Tuesday. Marcus can return Wednesday with a fresh start. Marcus's heart stops. Suspension? Tomorrow is when my dad comes home, after 8 months deployed. You're suspending me on the day my father returns? Nobody answers him directly. Patterson speaks instead. Marcus, sometimes consequences teach us important lessons. About respect. About following rules. About fitting in. Fitting in. The words are acid. Dorothy stares at the suspension notice. Friday. The day David lands at Reagan Airport. The day their family is supposed to celebrate. Now Marcus will be home, humiliated, punished for being the victim. This is wrong. Dorothy's voice breaks slightly. You know this is wrong. Cartwright's expression doesn't change. Ms. Williams, we can make this a longer suspension if needed. 5 days. A week. The choice is yours. The threat is clear. Comply or it gets worse. Dorothy looks at Marcus, sees his face crumbling, sees his faith in justice dying in real time. She signs the paper. They walk out in silence. Down the hallway. Past students heading to after-school activities. Past the cafeteria where it all happened. Outside, the November air bites cold. Marcus finally speaks. Grandma, I'm sorry. I caused all this trouble. No! Dorothy stops walking, turns to face him. Her eyes are wet. No, baby. You did nothing wrong. Nothing. You hear me? But Marcus doesn't feel like he did nothing wrong. He feels like he did everything wrong. Like being himself was the crime. That night, Dorothy sits in her kitchen after Marcus goes to bed. She stares at her phone. David's contact info glowing on the screen. She should call him. Tell him what happened. Let him fix this. But he's on his last night overseas. His last mission. She doesn't want to distract him, doesn't want him worried. She puts the phone down. In his room, Marcus lies awake, stares at the ceiling. Tomorrow he was supposed to show Dad the lunch he made. Prove he remembered Mom's recipes. Prove he was growing up responsible. Instead, he'll tell Dad he got suspended for bringing fried chicken to school. His phone buzzes. Tyler. Dude, the video hit 15,000 views. Someone shared it on TikTok. It's blowing up. Marcus types back. So what? I'm still suspended. Just wait. This isn't over. But it feels over. It feels like Patterson won. Like the system won. Like Marcus lost for the crime of being black and proud of his heritage. He pulls out the military challenge coin his father gave him before deployment, rubs his thumb over the engraving. Integrity first, service before self. Dad lived by those words, fought for those values overseas. Marcus got punished for living them at school. Sleep doesn't come easy. Friday morning, 6:47 a.m. Dorothy's phone rings. Unknown number. She answers groggily. Mom? Her eyes snap open. David, baby, where are you? I'm stateside, landing at Reagan in 3 hours. Colonel David Williams's voice sounds tired but alert. Marcus sent me something last night. A video. 47,000 views now. What's going on? Dorothy sits up in bed. Her heart pounds. You're coming home early? I caught an earlier transport. Mom, talk to me. What happened to my son? Dorothy tells him everything. The lunch, Patterson, the suspension. Her voice breaks twice. On the other end, David Williams goes silent. The kind of silent that precedes storms. I'll be there by 10:30. Don't go anywhere. The line goes dead. Dorothy walks to Marcus's room. He's already awake, staring at his phone. Your father called. Marcus looks up. He knows? He's landing in 3 hours. Something shifts in Marcus's expression. Not quite hope, but something close. By 9 a.m., Tyler's video has 82,000 views. Local news outlets are picking it up. Comments flood in. This is discrimination, plain and simple. I went to this school. Patterson did this to me in 2019. Where is the school board? School board member Jessica Martinez sees the video over morning coffee, spits it out. Immediately calls Superintendent Dr. Rachel Torres. Torres is already watching it, already furious. Get our lawyer. Get HR. We're going to Lincoln Heights. Now. At the school, Principal Cartwright's phone explodes with calls. District office, parents, media requests. All before 9:30 a.m. She calls Patterson. Jennifer, do not come to school today. Do not speak to anyone. Stay home. Patterson's voice is shrill. Helen, this is getting out of hand. We need to control the narrative. There is no narrative to control. There's a video. Cartwright's professional composure cracks. Just stay away. But the damage is already viral. At 10:15 a.m., a taxi pulls up to the Williams apartment. Colonel David Williams steps out in full Army dress uniform. Not fatigues, not casual dress. Full ceremonial uniform. Ribbons covering his chest. Brass gleaming. Command presence radiating from every inch. He's 42 years old, 6'2", broad shoulders that carried responsibility for 2,000 soldiers, dark skin weathered by desert sun and mountain wind, eyes that have seen combat and never flinched. Those eyes are focused now. Marcus opens the door, sees his father, breaks. They embrace in the doorway. David holds his son like he might disappear, 8 months of distance collapsing into one moment. I'm sorry, Dad. I ruined your homecoming. Stop. David pulls back, looks Marcus in the eyes. You did nothing wrong. Nothing. You hear me? Marcus nods, tears streaming. Dorothy appears. David hugs her too. Brief. Tight. Where's the school? David, maybe we should... Where's the school, Mom? She tells him. 3 blocks. David adjusts his uniform, checks his reflection. Every detail is perfect. Every ribbon aligned. This isn't just a father going to school. This is a commander going to war. Let's go. They walk. All 3 of them. November sun struggling through clouds. The neighborhood is quiet. Lincoln Heights Middle School looms ahead. At 10:45 a.m., Colonel David Williams walks through the front doors in full dress uniform. The effect is immediate. Students in the hallway stop. Conversations die mid-sentence. Every eye turns. Is that a soldier? Full uniform. Look at all those ribbons. That's Marcus's dad. Oh my God, that's Colonel Williams from Fort Myer. The recognition spreads like wildfire. 40% of Lincoln Heights students are military dependents. They know ranks. They know what those ribbons mean. A girl named Sarah, daughter of a Navy captain, gasps. That's the Fort Myer commander. My dad talks about him. The secretary at the front desk stands automatically when David approaches. Military instinct. Sir, can I help you? Colonel David Williams. I'm here to see Principal Cartwright immediately. Sir, she's in her office, but now. Not loud, not aggressive, just absolute command. The secretary picks up the phone with shaking hands. Tyler spots them from down the hall, grabs his phone, starts filming, sends to the group chat. Marcus's dad is here, in uniform. Within 30 seconds, students find excuses to be in that hallway. Principal Cartwright emerges from her office. She sees David, sees the uniform. Her professional mask slips for just a second. Mr. Williams, I understand you're concerned, but it's Colonel Williams. His voice carries, not shouting, but everyone within 50 feet hears clearly. United States Army, 22 years of service, commander of Fort Myer. And yes, I'm concerned that my son was suspended for being the victim of racial discrimination. Cartwright's face pales. Colonel, this is not the appropriate venue for... Then let's use your office. He doesn't wait for permission. Walks toward her office door. Dorothy and Marcus follow. Cartwright has no choice. She follows too. Follows. The door closes. But the glass walls mean students can see inside. David remains standing. Cartwright sits behind her desk, a power play that doesn't work when the other person towers over you in uniform. I've reviewed the video. 82,000 people have now seen your teacher tell my son his food doesn't belong, that it's inappropriate, that it smells wrong. David's words are precise, surgical. Then you suspended him for being humiliated. Cartwright tries to regain control. Colonel Williams, I understand emotions are high, but Ms. Patterson has professional discretion. Discretion to discriminate? David pulls out papers, Marcus's notebook, documentation of 5 incidents. Aaliyah Jackson, September 15th, bonnet confiscated. Miguel Hernandez, October 3rd, tamales thrown away. Keisha Thomas, October 10th. Jollof rice disposed of. Raj Patel, September 28th. Curry was rejected. He places the notebook on her desk. All students of color. All cultural foods. But Emma's lasagna, Connor's gyros, never touched. Cartwright's mouth opens, closes. That's not discretion. That's a pattern. That's a Title VI violation. David leans forward slightly. And you enabled it by dismissing 7 complaints in 3 months. Colonel, you can't just... I command 2,000 soldiers at Fort Myer. I answer to the Secretary of Defense. I'm responsible for Arlington National Cemetery operations. His voice drops lower, more dangerous. And I will not let my son be punished for eating fried chicken at school. A knock interrupts them. The door opens without waiting for permission. Superintendent Dr. Rachel Torres walks in. Latina, 53, carrying authority like armor. Behind her, the school district attorney and HR director. Cartwright stands. Superintendent Torres, I wasn't expecting... No, you weren't. Torres's voice could cut steel. Because you were too busy defending discrimination to call me. She turns to David, extends her hand. Colonel Williams, I'm Dr. Rachel Torres, superintendent. I owe you and your family a profound apology. David shakes her hand. Firm. Brief. Superintendent. Torres turns to Cartwright. Where is Ms. Patterson? I told her to stay home. You told an employee under investigation to avoid accountability? Torres's eyes flash. Call her. Now. Tell her to be here in 20 minutes or she'll be terminated for insubordination. Cartwright picks up her phone with trembling hands. Make the call. Torres addresses David and Marcus. I've spent the morning reviewing documentation. 7 formal grievances dismissed, 15 informal complaints ignored. A clear pattern of targeting students of color. She looks at Marcus. You documented this. That's exceptional work. Marcus speaks quietly. My history teacher gave me the notebook. Said evidence matters. Mr. Anderson, Torres nods. Smart man. 23 minutes later, Ms. Jennifer Patterson arrives. She walks into the crowded office and stops dead. She sees Colonel Williams in full uniform, sees the superintendent, sees the attorney, sees Marcus. Her face drains of color. Sit down, Miss Patterson. Torres's voice leaves no room for argument. Patterson sits, tries to compose herself. Superintendent, I'm glad you're here. There's been a misunderstanding. There's been no misunderstanding. The attorney opens a file folder. Ms. Patterson, you're being placed on immediate administrative leave pending investigation into civil rights violations under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. Patterson's mouth falls open. Violations? I was enforcing school standards. There are no standards. Torres cuts through. We've reviewed every policy document. There is no cultural appropriateness initiative, no written policy about food, no guidelines about cultural dress. She leans forward. You created a discriminatory pattern targeting students of color. That's not education. That's bigotry. Patterson turns to Cartwright. Desperate. Helen, tell them. You approved everything. Cartwright looks away. Torres turns to the principal. Dr. Cartwright, you're also on administrative leave. You enabled discrimination by dismissing complaints. That's a failure of leadership. You can't. I have 20 years, and you used them to protect racism. Torres stands. Security will escort you both out. Patterson's desperation peaks. She turns to David. You're military. You understand the chain of command. Following orders. This is political. David's voice is ice. I understand integrity, something you lack. Patterson tries again. But who even are you to... Another knock at the door. A man walks in. Black, 51 years old, distinguished in a tailored suit. Mayor Jonathan Bradley of Washington, D.C. Everyone stands instinctively. Patterson's remaining color drains away. The mayor looks around. His eyes land on David. They share a look, familiarity. Dave, welcome home. They shake hands, something more than casual. David nods. John. Marcus stares confused. Dad? The mayor turns to Marcus. His expression softens. Marcus. Last time I saw you, you were this tall. He gestures to waist height. I don't... David puts his hand on Marcus's shoulder. Marcus, this is Mayor Jonathan Bradley, your mother's brother, your uncle. The room goes completely silent. Marcus's world tilts. My uncle? Your mom and I drifted after she got sick. That's my failure, but I'm here now. Bradley looks at Patterson. And I've seen everything. Patterson can't speak. She's facing the mayor who is Marcus's uncle. Bradley continues, voice controlled but tight. My sister, Angela Williams, passed away 3 years ago. She was a teacher. She believed every child deserved dignity. He looks directly at Patterson. That lunch you threw away? Those were her recipes, her legacy, taught by her mother to her son. He lets that sink in. You didn't just throw away food, Ms. Patterson. You threw away my sister's memory. Patterson's lips tremble. No words come. Bradley turns to Torres. Superintendent, I trust this investigation will be thorough? Absolutely, Mayor Bradley. Good, because I'll be monitoring it personally. He turns to Marcus, crouches to eye level. Your mom would be so proud of you. For standing up. For documenting everything. Marcus's eyes fill with tears. Uncle John, I didn't know. I've been mayor for 2 years. I should have been present sooner. That's on me. Bradley stands. But I'm here now, and this ends today. David adds, I called John from the plane. Because this isn't just about family. It's about civil rights. Bradley nods. If Marcus weren't my nephew, this would still be wrong. That's why we're implementing new oversight, district-wide bias training, independent reporting systems. Torres adds, Fort Myer has expressed concerns. 40% of students here are military dependents. The base is reviewing whether this school remains suitable. The weight of that hangs heavy. Losing military students means losing funding. Patterson tries once more. This isn't fair. It's just food. Just school rules. Marcus speaks up, voice stronger. You threw away my mother's container. You called my food inappropriate. You suspended me for being humiliated. He looks her in the eye. What standard is that? Patterson has no answer. Security arrives. Torres nods. Ms. Patterson? Dr. Cartwright? You're escorted off campus immediately. As they're led out, students in the hallway part. Everyone is watching. Phone recording. Patterson tries to hide her face. Can't. Someone calls out, You said my tamales didn't belong. Another voice. You took my sister's bonnet. Patterson keeps walking. No defense possible. Outside, news vans are gathering. Torres called them. Transparency. Mayor Bradley gives a statement on the school steps. David stands beside him, Marcus between them. Today, Lincoln Heights failed one of its students. Marcus Williams showed courage by documenting discrimination. We're implementing immediate reforms. A reporter asks, Is Marcus your nephew? Yes. But this isn't about family connection. It's about civil rights. Marcus happened to have a family that could amplify his voice, but he shouldn't have needed that. Another reporter. Colonel Williams, your message? David steps forward. I've served 22 years. I've been in combat. I never imagined my son would face discrimination in his own school. His voice cracks. But I'm proud of him. He documented. He spoke the truth. He stood firm. Marcus is pulled forward, shy, overwhelmed. I just wanted to eat my lunch. That I made. For my dad. His voice is small but steady. No kid should be afraid to be themselves. The gathered students erupt in applause. Tyler holds up a sign. All foods welcome. Other students raise their phones, recording, making this permanent. Friday evening. The Williams apartment smells like home. Grandma Dorothy stands at the stove cooking the same meal Patterson threw away. Fried chicken sizzling in cast iron. Mac and cheese bubbling in the oven. Collard greens simmering with ham hocks. The table is set for 4. Dorothy, Marcus, Colonel David Williams, and Mayor Jonathan Bradley. Bradley arrived an hour ago with old photo albums, pictures of Angela when she was young, before the sickness. Mom D, this smells even better than I remembered. Bradley uses the nickname from childhood. Don't you sweet-talk me, Jonathan Bradley. Dorothy points her wooden spoon at him. You stayed away too long. I know. I'm sorry. His voice carries regret. After Angela died, I couldn't face how much Marcus looked like her. David places his hand on Bradley's shoulder. You're here now. That's what matters. They sit, pass plates. The food is perfect, exactly like Angela used to make. Marcus takes a bite of chicken, closes his eyes. This tastes like Mom. The table goes quiet, remembering quiet. Bradley opens a photo album, points to a picture. Young Angela, maybe 25, wearing a teacher's lanyard. Your mom loved teaching. She believed every kid deserved to feel safe at school. He looks at Marcus. She got suspended once, you know. Marcus's eyes widen. Mom? Suspended? 8th grade. She wore a traditional African dress. The principal said it was disruptive, so she wore it every day for a month until they changed the policy. David laughs. She never told me that. She was saving it. Wanted to tell Marcus when he was old enough to understand what standing up means. Marcus looks at the photo, sees himself in his mother's expression. I think I understand now. Dorothy squeezes Marcus's hand. Your mama would be so proud, baby. They eat, share stories, laugh about Angela's terrible singing and fierce love. For the first time in 3 years, grief feels less like drowning and more like remembering. After dinner, Bradley pulls Marcus aside. They sit on the balcony. Your documentation, Marcus. That notebook. That's paralegal level work. Bradley's tone is serious. Ever thought about law? Marcus shrugs. I like robotics, building things. You can do both. Justice needs technical minds. Bradley pauses. What did you did? That's what lawyers do. Gather evidence, build cases, speak truth to power. Marcus considers this. Mr. Anderson said evidence matters more than anger. He's right, and he's getting tenure now. I'm making sure of it. Really? Really. Teachers who stand up deserve protection. Marcus looks out at the neighborhood. Lights in windows, families settling in. Uncle John, what happens to Ms. Patterson? Bradley takes a breath. Investigation takes 6 weeks. If violations are confirmed, and they will be, she'll be terminated. Might face lawsuits. Will she go to jail? Probably not. Discrimination usually isn't criminal unless violent. But she'll lose her career, her power to hurt kids. Marcus nods slowly. Is that enough? I don't know. Justice is complicated. Punishment isn't the same as healing. Bradley looks at him. But she can't teach anymore, can't hurt anyone else. That matters. Silence for a moment. She wrote you a letter, through her lawyer, asking to apologize in person. Marcus tenses. I don't want to see her. You don't have to. That's your choice. Bradley's voice is gentle. But if you change your mind, that option exists. For you, not for her. Monday morning, Marcus returns to Lincoln Heights. Suspension lifted by emergency order Sunday evening. Dorothy walks him to the entrance, squeezes his hand. You got this, baby. Marcus takes a breath, walks through the doors. The hallway erupts in applause. Students line both sides, clapping, cheering, signs everywhere. Welcome back, Marcus. Justice served. Tyler rushes up, nearly tackles him. Dude, you're a legend. Aaliyah, Devin, Keisha, Miguel, Raj, all Patterson's victims surround him. Solidarity. Morning assembly is different. A new face at the podium. Dr. James Anderson, Marcus's history teacher, now interim principal. Good morning, Lincoln Heights. We're entering a new chapter. I'm honored to serve as principal. Anderson's voice carries warmth and authority. We're implementing immediate changes. He clicks a presentation slide. First, the Cultural Celebration Initiative. We explicitly welcome cultural dress, hairstyles, and foods. We celebrate diversity. Students cheer. Second, new bias reporting system. Anonymous, third-party oversight. Monthly transparency reports. You have a voice. We will listen. More applause. Third, mandatory bias training for all staff. External organizations. Quarterly refreshers. No exceptions. Anderson looks at Marcus. These changes happened because one student refused to accept humiliation as normal. Because he documented. Because he spoke up. That's courage. The applause is deafening. At lunch, Marcus sits at his usual table, Opens his container, same food. Fried chicken, mac and cheese, collard greens, his mother's Tupperware, carefully washed. Dr. Anderson walks through, stops at Marcus's table. "That looks delicious, Marcus." "Thank you, Dr. Anderson." Marcus smiles. "Would you like some?" Anderson's face lights up. "I'd be honored." Marcus shares his food. Students watch. The symbolism is clear. Food as a bridge, not a barrier. Other students pull out cultural foods they'd hidden before. Tamales, jollof rice, curry, dumplings, injera, plantains, banh mi. The cafeteria transforms into a diversity showcase. One white student looks at her sandwich. "This is boring. Can someone teach me?" Keisha grins. "My mom's teaching a cooking class. You should come." Bridges building in real time. Tyler nudges Marcus. "You changed the whole school." Marcus shakes his head. "We all did. Together." 2 weeks pass. Investigation concludes. Results made public. Ms. Patterson. 23 documented incidents over 4 years. Terminated. Teaching license under review. 3 families file lawsuits. Dr. Cartwright. Early retirement instead of termination. Forfeits pension bonus. Barred from administration. Both required 200 hours restorative justice training. Patterson writes a letter. Hand-delivered through her attorney. Marcus holds it 3 days before opening. "Marcus, I cannot undo what I did. I was wrong. In my thinking, assumptions, abuse of power. You deserved better. I have much to learn. I hope someday to earn the chance to apologize in person. I don't expect forgiveness, but I want you to know I'm trying to be better. You were braver at 12 than I've been in my entire life." JP. Marcus reads twice, folds it, puts it in his drawer. He doesn't respond. Not yet. Maybe never. That's his choice. His power. Sunday afternoon, 3 weeks later. The Williams family stands at Greenlawn Cemetery. Angela's grave under an old oak. David, Dorothy, Marcus, Uncle John. Marcus places a plate of food on the headstone. The meal that started everything. "We did it, Mom." His voice is steady, strong. "Just like you would have." Wind rustles through oak leaves, peaceful. David's arm wraps around Marcus's shoulders. "Your mom always said food was love you could taste. And standing up was love you could show," Bradley adds. They stand together. Family. Stronger for breaking and healing. Marcus looks at his mother's name. Angela Marie Williams. Teacher. Mother. Fighter. He understands now. She didn't stay away. She's in every recipe, every act of courage, every refusal to accept injustice. She's in him, and that's enough. 6 months later, Lincoln Heights Middle School looks different. Not the building. The building is the same brick and glass structure, but the spirit inside has transformed completely. The cafeteria at lunch period is a celebration. Students from every background share food openly, proudly, without fear. Marcus sits with his usual crew. His container, his mother's container, holds a new recipe today. Jerk chicken. Dorothy's learning Caribbean cooking from Keisha's grandmother. This story isn't really about lunch. It's about dignity, about culture, about the everyday acts of discrimination that happen in schools, workplaces, and communities across America every single day. According to the National Education Association, students of color are 3.5 times more likely to face disciplinary action for the same behaviors as white students. 3.5 times. That's not a coincidence. That's the pattern. That's the system. But this story is also about power. The power of documentation. The importance of allies. What happens when people refuse to stay silent? Marcus didn't have institutional power. He was 12 years old, black, motherless. His father deployed 8,000 miles away. But he had integrity. He had witnesses. He had a family who believed him. He had a teacher who slipped him a notebook and said evidence matters, and that was enough to change everything. Tyler didn't stay silent. When your friend faces injustice, your voice matters. Your phone matters. Your willingness to make noise matters. Sometimes the people with power are closer than you think. Mayor Bradley was Marcus's uncle. But here's the truth. Justice shouldn't require a phone call to City Hall. It shouldn't need a colonel in dress uniform. It shouldn't depend on going viral. Justice should be the baseline, not the exception. Since Marcus's story spread, 47 other schools in the district reported similar incidents. Investigations are underway. The Cultural Celebration Initiative is now district-wide policy. But this isn't just a school issue. A 2023 study found that 63% of employees from minority backgrounds report cultural code switching at work, hiding parts of their identity to fit in, to survive. From ethnic food called smelly in offices to cultural dress deemed unprofessional, these microaggressions accumulate. They compound. They crush. Marcus's lunch wasn't just lunch. It was a heritage. His mother's memory. Sunday afternoons with his grandmother. His first attempt at independence. When Patterson threw it away, she threw away all of that. But here's what she couldn't throw away. Marcus's voice. His truth. His refusal to be diminished. Lincoln Heights has a new culture now. Students wear cultural dress with pride. The cafeteria showcases global cuisine. And Marcus? He's still making his mother's recipes, still honoring her memory, still standing tall. He's also co-chair of the Student Equity Committee. His robotics team won regionals. He's teaching younger students how to document discrimination when they see it. He's thinking about law school someday. Maybe. After engineering. If this story moved you, here's what you can do. First, document. If you or someone you know faces discrimination, write it down. Dates, times, witnesses, specific words used. Marcus's notebook changed everything. Screenshots, emails, patterns. Second, speak up. Be a Tyler. When you see injustice, don't just watch. Record it. Share it. Make noise. Contact school boards, HR departments, local officials. Your voice creates pressure. Third, support. If a child tells you they're facing discrimination, believe them. Investigate. Don't dismiss. Check your own biases, too. What do you assume about appropriate food, dress, or behavior? Fourth, vote and advocate. Support leaders who prioritize civil rights enforcement. Push for bias training, diverse hiring, and accountability systems in your community. Fifth, share this story. Stories like Marcus's don't go viral by accident. They go viral because people like you decide injustice won't stay hidden. Share this. Tag your school board. Tag local news. Make it impossible to ignore. Power doesn't fear silence. It fears witnesses. It fears documentation. It fears one 12-year-old boy who refused to believe that humiliation was the price of education. Be a witness. Be a documentarian. Be someone's Tyler. Be someone's Colonel Williams. Be someone's Mayor Bradley. And if you're a Marcus, keep standing. The world is watching now. Your voice matters. Your culture matters. Your food, your dress, your heritage, all of it matters. Don't let anyone tell you differently. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced discrimination at school or work? Have you witnessed it happening to someone else? What did you do? What would you do differently now? Drop your story in the comments below. Let's build a community of witnesses, of documents, of people who refuse to stay silent. And if this story resonated with you, hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more stories about justice, courage, and standing up for what's right. Because every share is a statement. Every comment is solidarity. Every voice added to the chorus makes it harder for injustice to hide. Stand with Marcus. Stand for dignity. Stand for change. Thank you for watching. And remember, you have more power than you think.
At Black Voices Uncut, we don't polish away the pain or water down the message. We tell it like it is because the truth deserves nothing less. If today's story spoke to you, click like, join the conversation in the comments, and subscribe so you'll be here for the next Uncut Voice.